All right, welcome to the Rich CELENZA Show. WTF are you talking about? Thanks for listening in. I'm actually in the car again doing my podcast. That's when I usually have a lot of time, or I have time to do it. I'm sorry if the audio isn't always perfect, but it's a great time for me because I can clear my mind out while I'm driving from state to state or city to city. In this case, I'm heading into Oklahoma. I've only been there once before. It's really beautiful, actually. I don't know if you ever had a chance to be there, but it's like a mini Texas, I guess you would say. I'm actually leaving Texas right now, Dallas. So that's why I'm going to head over here very quickly, do some quick work, and then I got to go to Kansas and then fly to Florida. But I spend a lot of time, too. I guess the only time I listen to other podcasts with sports announcers and watch ESPN. My favorite show is Pardon the Interruption. Tony Kornheiser and Michael Boban. And, just like a lot of people, I think I just watch a lot of sports. I don't watch Fox Sports as much. I mean, obviously I watch sports on Fox. But I was really, I used to collect money and we used to gamble for years, legally and illegally. And I still kind of laugh at a lot of sports announcers or people that talk about sports with their predictions all this type of, I guess you could say, nonsense, I think, that they talk because if you listen to it from one year to the next, how off they usually are, which I find quite funny that these people get paid millions of dollars to talk about sports that really, they sound like they know what they're talking about because I think they've programmed themselves or they research it, or they study it. But just because you study something or research it doesn't mean you know what the fuck you're talking about, right? And that's kind of like my show, WTF Are You Talking About? In this case, I think, for the most part, most of these guys don't know what the fuck they're talking. Even if they were remotely close to even picking teams, right? Who's going to be where and who's going to be in what position. And I understand when you start analyzing injuries, along with trades, along with different management, obviously different everything, even in different owners at times, selling, moving to different cities, states, all these different components start happening, moving parts, which it's impossible. And I get that it's a business. You got to realize sports is a business, right? And but when it comes down to it, these guys, and there's more and more and more of them, and a lot of them were ex-athletes even, ex-coaches, and don't get me wrong, a lot do know what they're talking about. But I think a majority of them, for the most part, don't. Even if they were remotely decent, like I said, at picking teams, even winners, straight up, not even spreads, most couldn't even pick 50%, I don't think, right? I wouldn't even, if you, when we used to bet, we used to say, if you pay 10% juice on every bet. That doesn't include, obviously, parlays, round robins, or other type of bets. But if you pick 10 teams and you pick 5 winners, you still lost money with the juice, right? If you pick 6 winners out of 10, you pay the juice, you basically almost, you made a little money, but you broke even. You got to basically win 7 out of 10 bets, basically, to start making some money, I believe. And very few people could pick winners. But even if you did this for a living and you studied teams, regardless of what, I don't care if it's the NFL, NBA, NHL, National Baseball League, whatever it is, they're not that good. If they were even remotely decent, I think, or they wouldn't even have to really kind of work because they can make so much money off just picking winners. But they don't. They get paid for talking a lot of shit, which again, like I said, for the most part, it's just a lot of garbage. And I'm not here to say that all sports announcers or all people who talk about sports on television, podcast, the radio are garbage, because I love what I do love about sports announcers, or whatever you want to call them, analysts, journalists, is they do come in from different perspectives, right? A lot of times, and they're very interesting. That I kind of like. But as far as really, really knowing what they're talking about, I think they're weak. I think they're basically like, they're performers, right? even though they're journalists, again, which they're supposed to be giving you information. But nowadays, I think journalists, for the most part, are getting weeded out a little bit because we don't need you. You can't. I just saw something on the news where they had a girl running out of I don't know where she was running out of, some political event, and running with information regarding a case that just got settled on a political case. And she's running out, and it was tweeted, and it was all this shit. Like, she had the story before anybody else. And I'm thinking, the truth is, what the fuck are you running for? All you had to do was either send an email, text, or tweet the information. And in probably about a minute, everyone can have it. Like, it's not 1902 or 1950 where you got the hot story and you're running it to get it to the presses. I don't even understand that now. Now, other people may find out different information privately and they don't want it to leak or this or that. But journalists, as far like news stories are being covered by so many different people and can be, I guess you could say, posted at any given second. So a lot of these journalists that are claiming to find information out and this and that, and we're in the locker room, I'm back to sports again, obviously, or I heard this from this and this and this, a lot of it's kind of common sense because a lot of the players and a lot of people affiliated with these teams or following these teams, including other fellow fans, they got the inside tip just as quickly as a lot of them, and they can just post it, right? I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of like a movie nowadays. Who the fuck needs a movie critic, right? If you want to go on there, Rotten Tomatoes or whatever, and you see people get to vote themselves. If it's at a certain rating, you just go there. Why do I necessarily need somebody else to kind of tell me their opinion on this? Now, I get, like, in my case, say my podcast or whatever, I'm trying to give advice on things that I've learned over the years that may or may not be able to help you. But I'm definitely not going to be somebody who's like has an inside scoop or I'm going to sit here and analyze everything, because I think or become in that position. I think I don't work well in that because I think a lot of it's bullshit. That's what the WTF stands for. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because I think a lot of people are just spewing a lot of nonsense or pretending that they have inside tips or they know this certain type of knowledge about things that they don't. Again, that's just my opinion. But I think a lot of these people need to be exposed because they're wasting a lot of time. But again, I get if people love these personalities or these players that are doing this as far as pretending they're now journalists or professional analysts, it just kind of makes me laugh because I don't think for the most part they are these things. Just because you're a great athlete, even saying, does not make you a great analyst in that sport. In that position, of course. So if you're a defensive back or you're a QB maybe or whatever, like, but I do see people like Troy Aikman, unbelievable. I think he's amazing at what he does. Romo, he does a great job. I love A-Rod doing baseball. Some of them dudes are spectacular, but there's a lot of them out there that kind of jump in, and I'm like, what the fuck? Again, not saying they're bad. If they played the sport their entire life, they know way more than I ever would. But a lot of them I just don't think are that good or really understand the business aspect of things. Because, like I said, when it comes down to it, it is a business. So when they're giving you predictions and players or all these things, they're not looking at it from a business perspective. They're kind of looking at it as a personal, which again, that's fine too. But whatever. I do like the new show. I think it's High Noon with Pablo Torres and that skinny black dude I like too. I'm not down with Around the Horn. I'm just talking to ESPN right now. I'm all over the damn place here. I don't watch Fox. I'm not. They're a little too nuts. But I'm gonna wrap it up there, anyways. That's my 2 cents regarding a lot of these peeps talking sports, talking shit. I do like the Herd. I'll throw that out there. I kind of dig that. Right or wrong, sometimes I disagree or agree. Michael Rappaport is fucking hilarious. If you ever get a chance, listen to that crazy guy. I mean, there's tons of them on there. I'm going to leave it at that. If you get a chance, check out my YouTube page. I'm going to be posting a lot of different videos on different places that I go. I try to give people advice on how to travel affordably, all different unique areas to go to as well, including different restaurants, bars, hotels, coffee houses, all these different things where to shop, including consignment shopping. I have also a couple programs coming out called Mastering Self-Confidence, So if you get a chance, check that out as well. So I'm always trying to give advice as well on hygiene, fitness, and fashion. All right. Again, thanks for checking out my podcast. I wish you nothing but the best.